Noisy pixel.
Console exclusivity seems to be a pretty loose term in the video game industry nowadays, as games add additional platforms after their initial launch. Still, I was personally surprised after hearing about Cuphead's sudden release for the PlayStation 4. It didn't feel out of the norm to see this cartoony platformer on the Switch for on-the-go play, but for a Microsoft game to come out on PS4 seemed out of nowhere and surprised me. Cuphead's venture to a new platform opens the door to those who missed out on the game and brings with it the same boss-focused gameplay and beautiful design. Everything about Cuphead feeds into its aesthetic. The art style and presentation have always been its main appeal, and even 3 years later, it still looks fantastic. Cuphead's story is pretty simple, as it hits beats similar to the cartoons its aesthetic is based on. Of course though, that's the point, and the story has charm that makes this cartoon world feel all that much more immersive. The animation of the characters is charming and engaging throughout, which ultimately makes it like a playable cartoon. The design and music feed into the experience, creating an atmosphere of cartoon immersion, unlike really anything I've played. The cutscenes are ultimately a throwback to childhood. There's plenty of moments where the aesthetic shines, from the environments to the bosses. This game is a work of art. While the core of Cuphead's gameplay is a run-and-gun platformer similar to games like Metal Slug, most of this game is primarily boss encounters, which vastly outnumber the actual stages. This stood out to me the most because it's so different than other games. While other titles feature bosses as the climax of a level, Cuphead flips this and makes them the meat of the entire experience. In retrospect, I would have preferred the typical platforming section to be the primary gameplay here because they're low tension in comparison and would make the game easier to play for longer sessions. One thing to keep in mind is that you have very limited HP and the boss cycles are quite long, which basically necessitates memorizing boss attack cycles and levels to progress. It can be frustrating at times, but this game primarily derives satisfaction from both executing your knowledge of boss patterns and overcoming the challenges it puts on you. It's incredibly rewarding to finish any of these bosses, even after your 15th attempt. Personally though, I wish there were more difficulty options, and I wish there were more granular choices. Regular feels NES hard, while simple feels like easy mode. Simple makes you fight through fewer stages of the boss battle, and these stages contain more straightforward patterns. Simple's dumbed down bosses almost feel like an insult, to the point in which I can usually beat them on my first try. But I get legitimately stuck on regular, to the point in which I can't personally beat them. I just wish there was an in-between mode that blended these two together, like using the patterns of regular and the stages of simple or something like that. The controls of Cuphead are a quintessential example of easy to learn, hard to master. There are various weapons you can buy from the shop using coins you acquire for completing the levels. Still, the sparsity of these stages means you don't really have many options to customize your gameplay experience, especially early on. If you don't get the right items, you're basically punished for it, which makes the boss fights all that much more harder. Outside of doing a double take over the PlayStation prompts for the various buttons, for the most part, this Cuphead experience is just like the rest of the platforms. It looks great, and I had no performance experiences to note on my PS4 Slim. Cuphead on PS4 is an excellent port of a fun and unique boss rush run-and-gun title. Outside of a few quirks with its difficulty scale, everything about this experience is fluid and entertaining. The aesthetic is the star of the show, which pairs well with its responsive controls and captivating soundtrack. You might encounter a few moments of frustration after the 10th death to the boss, but the satisfaction of overcoming these moments is a great reward. If you haven't played Cuphead on other platforms, then I'd recommend you pick it up on PS4. Noisy Pixel is giving Cuphead on PS4 an 8.5 out of 10. This has been Noisy Pixel, signing off. If you're interested in more information about this game, please check out the written review on our website. If interested in content like this, please subscribe to the channel to be notified about our future content, and have a great day.